What is going on, everybody? It is episode 650 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today we are on the eve of Phil's farewell, temporary farewell to Pop Culture Crisis. Hi, Phil.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? I will be taking off to start rehearsals for the Destroy All Enemies tour with Megadeth and Mudvayne. It starts the 2nd of August in, what's the name of the town? In Arkansas somewhere. And it goes until the end of September.
Somewhere in Arkansas.
It ends in Nashville, Tennessee, and then I'll be back after that in October.
I like that you said it with gusto. Yes. You're like the Destroy All Enemies tour.
You know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big tour. Deal. It's going to be outdoors in sheds, which I've done those tours before, like where you're like in the big amphitheaters and the lawn in the back, and they're literally the most fun tours that you can do that I've ever done. Like, they're so fun.
Outdoors better than indoors?
Depending on the tour.
Yeah.
Most of the time in the summertime, yes. Particularly in those sheds. If you do outdoor tours and you have like the shed and then the parking lot can be rough because it's really hot. There's no place to hide really from the sun except for on your bus. And you've got buses that are just churning away air conditioning trying to deal with Arizona in August, and
that's terrible.
Failing.
Yes.
But if you're in the shed, then there's the normal backstage and it's all nice and cool, and your buses are usually parked underneath some kind of pavilion as well. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait.
Is everything sold out, or
no? Not sold out. There's a couple.
I'm wondering.
There's a couple shows that are sold out. They had to add a Los Angeles show. Our meet and greets are like 75% sold out. So if you're looking to do meet and greets with all that remains, you should grab your tickets now.
Do it.
So yeah, but things are going really, really, really good, and I'm super pumped about it. I love you guys. I love both of you, and I love the PCC.
Love you, but I have to go out for milk and cigarettes.
No, not milk and cigarettes. I have to go to work.
Yeah.
It's actually work, and I will be back. I'm not going to go out for cigarettes.
Perfect.
God, I wish I could have cigarettes, man. I miss the heck out of those. Anyway.
Mary's like,
sorry to bring it up.
Mary's like, have you heard of Zins?
Yeah, like the Marlboro Man is running through my veins right now, screaming.
Option.
All right, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the video with your friends, family, loved ones, people that you like, people that you don't like, everyone, because the best way to help this show grow is to share it with people. That way they can share it with the people they know. It really is, it is the best, so thank you guys so much for that. All Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there. Perhaps you have a farewell for Phil, you would like
one
to
last
say.
question.
Or
that
one
you
last question.
Must ask him.
Or you could toss an insult my way. That's fine
Or
too
an
if you're
insult.
paying for it. $20.
Whatever is in your heart.
Insults are only $20 and up. You can't insult me for less money.
Perfect. So we got that. What are we going to get into today? Well, Amandla Stenberg, if you don't know who that is, she is the star of The Acolyte. She plays both Osha and May. She went on The View to talk about death threats and racist comments and all of the ways in which The Acolyte has made her life more difficult. I also think I heard Whoopi Goldberg in there blame bots on a bunch of stuff as well.
Did.
I find that interesting.
Do they think anyone watching The View is going to be like, I'm going to go watch The Acolyte now? I like Amandla. I like the cut of her jib. Like, do they think that the audience for The View, even one of them, is going to go subscribe to Disney Plus?
I mean, I'm more worried about whether they think somebody the average age of The View knows what a bot is.
I don't.
I feel like they don't know what a bot is, but they use it for anyone that says something they don't like.
It's like troll. It's like
Russian
troll.
bots.
Yeah, that's nothing troll. Like, they're just like, oh, he disagreed with me, so that's a troll. It's like, well, no, that's not what a troll is.
All the mainstream news networks are guilty of using that as a language to disassociate you.
They're dehumanizing.
They're dehumanizing.
It's literally the boomer flag. It's like,
So we're going to talk
to Facebook land.
Yes, good old Facebook land. Even I posted a Facebook meme over the a boomer meme over the 4th of July. So what else are we going to talk about? So after his disastrous debate performance, it seems like the rest of Hollywood is throwing in the towel as regards to Joe Biden, and in what looks like, honestly, a bit of a coordinated campaign, a bunch of them seem to be separating themselves from him and saying he needs to step down. Not just George Clooney, who wrote an op-ed for the New York Times.
They're all in like
the New York Times.
Yeah, the New York Times op-ed. They're all in like this group chat.
Yeah,
where they they coordinated all of it.
We're going to talk about that.
Idea.
I think it's real.
And we're going to talk about that. Also, Mary found a bunch of evidence that Katy Perry is out of touch with reality and the feminists don't like her.
Yeah, you know you're going wrong if even the feminists are dragging you.
Yeah, they're done with her.
Did I tell you guys any of the Katy Perry stories that I have when we toured on Ozfest with her?
You're
Or
gonna
not on
have
Ozfest,
to.
on
Well,
Warped Tour with her?
during the topic, you're going to have
Yeah,
to give.
stay
we
tuned
need
for all
stories.
that.
Stay
Couple.
tuned for
There's a
Katy
couple.
Perry stories from Phil. All right, if you guys are ready, then we will just get started. Mary, you ready?
I am ready.
Phil.
Let's go!
Perfect. That is a fantastic start to the show. All right, first things first, a bit of sad news if you want to take this as gospel. Kanye West is apparently retiring from professional music. He supposedly told Rich the Kid.
Yeah, this is a text message posted by Rich the Kid, who collaborates with him. Kanye said in this screenshot, "I'm retiring from professional music. Not sure what else to do." Which is funny considering that, you know, he does fashion mostly now.
I like the idea that he just starts doing amateur music. Like he starts a
Or he could just start producing more.
he starts like a non-verified YouTube page.
Yeah.
They just sent a $20 one.
Let me find it. He said, "No, what will we do without Phil? I'll never financially recover from this. LOL, Godspeed, Phil. Rock this tour's socks off, and we'll see you when you get back. Much love, brother. No homo."
Love you guys. Love you guys.
No homo.
Does the socks ever actually get rocked off? Now, I have seen the videos where somebody gets hit by the car and the shoes come off.
I've seen that kind of stuff happen with like car accidents.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
But I've never seen anybody actually have their socks rocked off.
We've played some really great shows. I don't know that we've ever.
That's what you
actually-
aim for.
Yeah, we do. That's a good idea. Yes, aim for the socks.
We'll
but
settle
if you
for
can
your
get, like,
shoes.
if you can get like shirts off, that's
Yeah.
cool. You know.
Yeah. So Rich the Kid in this screenshot replied to Ye and said, "Retire? Why? How? The people need you. The music you and Ty and we have made was the biggest stamp in culture to this date in 2024. Drop Ye, About Mine, and Volume 2, and we do it all over again. The kids need you, big bra, for show. Maybe some time to chill out, but retiring ain't it."
You know what it is? It's that friend on Facebook who always, it's like the end of the world and they say like, "I'm quitting Facebook." And then they come back like a couple weeks later. It's like,
He definitely is prone to mood swings and changing his mind about things.
there are absolutely people in the world of skating where it's like your friend, you're like, you know, skating is a subculture. So a lot of your friends come from that world. And somebody who you don't talk to on a regular basis will make like a Facebook post that says like, "Quitting skating, I'm done for good." It's like, bro, if you were done, you could just not do it anymore. The reason you're posting about it is because you want the attention.
Or like,
from,
if you really know me, you know how to reach me.
Yeah.
Like this is not quite exactly the same thing, but it's something similar. Like
Yeah, because he didn't say it. It was leaked by another person.
Yeah.
So.
But like when I quit drinking and when I quit smoking, I was very like quiet about it because I was very much like, I'm not sure this is gonna work. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk all kinds of smack and people be like, "Yo, what happened?" I'm just like, "Yo, for right now, I don't want to drink right now, or I don't want to smoke right now." And I was very, very like subdued about it because I hate it when people are just like, "Yo, you're a liar." You know?
You don't want to make it into a thing.
Exactly. Don't make it a thing. Just do your thing, and then like, you know, let the results speak for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. See, now that's what's going to happen, right? Like the moment a new song comes up, like, "Oh, thought you were retiring, bro."
I mean, I didn't care for his music on Vultures anyway, so
This is also
maybe he's just accepting that he's done.
This is indicative of the world of pro wrestling, where every pro wrestler retires like 15 times.
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of pro wrestling. though.
Yes.
You can get away with that because it's expected.
Ric Flair has been retiring for like 20 years. He had like a heart attack during a match
He's
last
almost
year.
dead.
Yes, he is. John Cena just announced his retirement just the other day, but it's like a year from now. It's like he's on his farewell tour from pro wrestling. I also saw another article that reminded everyone, did you know that he doesn't own his name and it is his real name? His real name is John Cena, and WWE gets a cut of everything he makes with his name on it.
Yeah,
Now
that's crazy.
that's the reason why
Sounds like a bad contract.
That's the reason why The Rock would perform under Dwayne Johnson
Yeah.
rather than The Rock, because he didn't want WWE to get a cut of it. And when he came back the other year, he got the trademark back, so he can go back to using it now if he wants to.
Nice.
But must be nice, right? to be a company that just gets to take a percentage off the top of everything you make, even if it's got nothing to do with the company.
Passive income.
I would love that.
You know, that text message that Rich the Kid kid sent back to Ye was like, no, I need to ride off your coattail longer. I need success from your name.
I actually like Rich the Kid.
He's begging him.
I don't think him untalented, but it does help him to be.
You're not Kanye.
To be able to orbit Kanye.
Yeah.
All right. We report a lot on bad news from Star Wars. Here's some ambivalent news about Star Wars, because this is something that I think could go well. So Sean Levy, he's known for Stranger Things. He's also known for, he did the Adam Project. He's done a lot of stuff that's very, very good. I think of him as a good up-and-coming director today. Has been tasked to do a Star Wars film from Lucasfilm, and he has found his writer for the project. Now, he got announced, I think, like couple months ago for this, and we know that Lucasfilm is as bad as Marvel and DC are these days about announcing projects that never come to fruition.
Well, it said he's been attached to this installment since 2022.
Yes, 2022.
This is connected to what we just talked about. Like, don't announce stuff, just do it and release it.
Well, likely he didn't announce it.
Fair enough.
So it says he's attached since 2022, and he's previously collaborated with, I don't know if it's pronounced Tropper, or is it Tropper? On several projects, including the 2014 family film This Is Where I Leave You, and recently the successful film The Adam Project. I did like The Adam Project a lot. It was a family-friendly film on Netflix that came out in 2022, which I really, really enjoyed. And of course, he has Deadpool and Wolverine coming out in just a couple of months. He's also supposedly attached to be one of the people who's front runner to do the next Avengers movie.
Okay.
So he's going to be a busy guy either way. Right, but the guy Jonathan Tropper, he did Banshee and Warrior, which are very, very different than the stuff that Sean Levy is doing. So Banshee is a really, really, really good series about an escaped felon who takes over the identity of a police chief.
And Banshee's not the comic book Banshee, correct?
It's no. Okay. This is a show, okay, that was on, I think it was on Showtime or Cinemax, and it was really, really good. It's really, really violent. It's got a lot of the stuff that all TV has these days: violence, sex, all that stuff. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's about as pulp can get. And Warrior is also it's like a martial arts show set. I think it's like in the 1800s. Also very, very violent with a ton of sex. I don't know how all of that fits into doing Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
so the next Star Wars movie is going to be The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
In 2026.
It's actually a movie?
Yeah. That's the next one. And I
have
assume
my doubts.
This one is going to be the next official Star Wars installment.
Assuming the Daisy Ridley one doesn't happen. I don't know about that one.
I don't know, which is going to be even later than 2026.
Yeah.
So officially in the works for it'll probably be 8 years, 10 years by the time it's actually out.
I mean, they're going to get older and older and older.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
Do you think that this could save face at least for Star Wars?
Look, if he was able to make a family, a fun Star Wars movie for all ages, that would be great. And certainly, I think the Adam Project was a family-friendly movie that's science fiction, but these are very different worlds, and it's not like he's writing it; he's directing the film. So my question is, how does Jonathan Tropper? I'm going to keep saying Tropper. Rein in his writing away from the likes of Banshee and Warrior and make something that's family friendly, because you're not going to be making an R-rated Star Wars movie for theaters, right?
Do you think they ever will?
No, they'll keep it PG to PG-13.
Okay.
So just something to look out for. Again, I like Banshee, I like Warrior. I don't know how they fit in with Star Wars, but I do think Sean Levy is one of the more prolific directors working today, and I'd rather see a name attached with somebody who has previous experience directing big budget films, right? I don't want to see somebody...
He's no Nia DaCosta.
I don't want to see somebody who's got 2 short films.
He's no Sharmino Baid Chinoy.
Yeah. So he's got the pedigree. We'll wait and see what happens, but stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I'm just going to leave this headline here for everyone.
This is seriously disgusting. Danny Elfman, the film score producer.
Absolutely incredible composer in Hollywood.
He is currently being sued by a woman for defamation because she claimed that he served her a martini with his semen in it.
A sementini, if you will.
Sementini. That's just...
Okay, so here's the thing that me and Mary went back and forth on earlier. She says, this sounds too gross to be fake. I said, no, it sounds like fan fiction writing, like weird Reddit abuse fan fiction.
I thought it was just too weird to make it up.
I hate to say this sentence, but I need to know more before I could make.
What is
that
this
decision.
Lord Farquaad ass haircut that he has right here?
So Danny Elfman, a famous film composer. Oh, there's a $20 one there from That Stands Tastic.
He said, "Hey Timcast IRL, we got humanity questioning cringe of the day and read all your super chats. Hey Timcast crew, what you got? Hey PCC guys, we have a memberships and an after show. Hey Ian, what do you got? Graphene. Thanks for reading."
Thank you.
Should we do that with IRL?
Do what?
The Costco guy versus Sam's Club guy?
Yeah. Hey.
If we had a social media marketer for PCC, I think that's what we would do.
Okay, so here's what it says, and thank you for that. That's fantastic.
So, according to the lawsuit, Nomi Abadi, the woman who accused him of this, is suing him for defamation because he says that she lied, and this was in like a Rolling Stone article.
She says he lied about her.
Yes, he lied about her in a Rolling Stone article where he and his reps denied that he engaged in sexual misconduct. The thing I was wondering about is like, what crime is that? If you serve someone a sementini, what crime is that?
You'd have to call the health department.
Like, that's definitely a crime. I just don't know what it is.
I hope there is a crime.
There's a comedy sketch in here somewhere where a cop shows up to fill out the report, and he has to like reference book to figure out what would actually be.
So in the suit, Nomi Abadi says that Danny Elfman invited her over to his studio in August 2016 and placed a martini glass filled with an off-white substance in front of her. She says she, quote, sat in silence, terrified, gagging from the putrid smell coming from semen ejaculate.
I mean, maybe it was just, maybe he let the wine bottle sit out open. Maybe that's what it was.
I hate this story.
And then she claims that Danny Elfman made a comment about Donald Trump. We're not sure if it was positive or negative, whatever he said. But it was August 2016, so they won't
make of that what
mention
you will.
Him. And she responded by expressing her support for Bernie Sanders, to which he allegedly responded, "We can't have a Jew running our country."
Whoa! Again, all of this just feels very not
fake.
Real to me. Like, I'm picturing her holding like a piece of stemware, like gagging as she says, "I kind of like that Bernie guy."
So, yeah, he denied the Martini claim back in July 2023. And that was an article about him settling a sexual harassment allegation with her for $830,000.
It's crazy. Like, you say that it sounds too weird to be fake. I think it sounds too, or to be fake. I think it sounds too weird to be real.
Here's the weirder thing. When he denied that he did this, he didn't deny putting something weird in the martini glass. His rep told Rolling Stone that the substance in the martini glass was a moisturizing cream. Cetaphil. He put Cetaphil moisturizer in her martini. Why? Why would you do that?
Now I'm like, maybe
maybe he did.
Like, he didn't just outright say that it didn't happen. He was like, no, I did put something weird in there. Like, but why would you do that? Why?
He's like, look,
he wanted her to like question it.
Women do these like semen facial, the semen moisturizers that they do. Like, he read something in a magazine and got the wrong idea.
Nomi Abadi claims that he masturbated in front of her multiple times and touched her inappropriately. She says those things absolutely did happen. And she says that his lying about it has hurt her career and caused her health to suffer. Okay. Emotional distress. So essentially, she made claims, and then he said that she's a liar, and she's suing him for calling her a liar.
I love when everything says, "We reached out to Danny's camp, but no word back so far." Shocking.
Sorry, the moisturizer thing is even weirder than the original claim. Like, I'm leaning toward that he did it.
We'll never know. That's the sad thing about these things. We'll never know whether it actually happened or not.
Especially because he just kind of looks like
Well, I'm not making my
something.
decision based on the way he looks, but I am leaning towards Mary's opinion after hearing more. Unfortunately, hearing more.
Wouldn't it also be a crime to put skincare products in someone's drink
Not
too?
as big of
I
a
don't
crime
know.
as bodily fluids, because it would be like they would consider that bio
Something.
Terrorism.
toxic or whatever. I'm about terrorism.
It's a
but
toxin.
He's terrorizing her.
It's like
It's like,
what is it? Biohazard.
I was just trying to moisturize your stomach.
Oh, that's gross.
He's like, look, I didn't clean the glass after I got it out of the dishwasher. It still had gunk on it. I'm sorry.
He uses a martini glass to hold his moisturizer.
That's what it is.
I don't know.
I don't know how the rich live. What do you want me to do? I don't know where the rich people put their moisturizing cream.
Yeah. Guess we'll just leave it at that.
We'll have to. I mean, he can go write a song about this now. He can go write a new score about this.
Yeah, very
when they make the
emotional
movie about him.
experience.
All right, time to move on. You got to tell everybody about who's coming to speak at the next GOP convention.
Yeah, so recently we talked about how Amber Rose came out as a Trump supporter, and TMZ paparazzi were following her, and they were like, hey, Amber, what about the slut walk? Like, you used to be this raging feminist, and now you're a Trump supporter. What's going on? I thought that was cool that she responded to them by saying, you know, I wanted to help women who were survivors of domestic abuse and stuff like that, but I didn't ever need to do a slut walk to help women. So essentially she's pivoted and come out with her MAGA hat and everything, and now she's speaking at the RNC. That's at least the rumor has it, that Amber Rose is set to speak at the RNC. That's what, in a few days from now?
I have a
we'll find
question.
out if it's true.
I have a question. Is this a sign of the tides turning, or is it just a sign that, look, we the GOP we will let anyone in here if we think it gives us credibility?
I don't think that it's about credibility. I think that it's about votes. And I think that it is, as much as there are people that have religious convictions in the GOP, religious convictions do not currently run the GOP. And the reason is because the left has essentially pushed so many people out, they're left with nowhere else to go. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people that say you can't have conservatism unless you have a religious foundation, and you can't have conservatism without there are people that are constantly in my mentions saying you can't have conservatism without Christ. And I, being an agnostic, say I'm going to vote for whoever the hell I want to vote for. So up yours. But it's not a good idea to exclude people. So there's a lot of people that are like, oh, the GOP has to be pro-life and has to be this way. And it's like, you can be pro-life, but the GOP doesn't have to. The GOP needs to have the power to enact legislation. And if you're kicking people out because they don't currently align with you, then you will not have access to that power to institute the policies that you want. So whether or not these are things that everybody in the GOP agrees with, like Amber Rose or whatever, they should welcome their votes, and then continue to behave as the way that they want to. Like, the GOP has their platform. Everybody that votes for them is aware of what the GOP is looking for. Stop trying to push people away. Allow them to come in and continue with the conservative policies that you're after. But you're not going to get the power to institute any policy if you push people out that would otherwise vote for the Republicans.
Maybe it was actually Amber Rose who brought in Project 2025.
She wrote it.
She wrote it. She is the Heritage Foundation.
As a religious conservative, what do you think of that perspective?
Look, I don't think highly of the Republican Party platform. They just released a new one, which decidedly left out any mention of traditional marriage. I understand that the religious right is receding and less relevant than it used to be, for sure. But including people and saying, like, it's a big tent movement doesn't mean you have to make them into spokespeople. And
that was kind of my point. Was more like, anytime some celebrity shifts and says, I am now going to support Trump, they go out of their way to then push them to the front of their conventions and their events, and it just never seems... It's kind of
clownish, and it's like, I don't know, it's just, simping for any kind of
mainstream
approval from the mainstream. And it speaks to not how Amber Rose really changed her mind about anything, but how Trump has changed in the public perspective, that he's this mainstream. Like, he's not the Trump of 2016. He's not even the Trump of 2020. I mean, I love Trump, but he's kind of a sellout. Like, that's why he can appeal to someone like Amber Rose, is because
his entire life, he was, up until he ran for president, he was a New York Democrat. So I'm not sure that I agree that he's a sellout.
In 2016, he was like, we're banning Muslims, we're deporting millions of people. Okay,
Well,
you know what I mean?
He still intends to deport millions of people.
Whether that's going to happen is still a question.
This happens to all presidents, though. Presidents will say, we want to do this, and then can they get the policies that they want passed?
I don't understand why Amber Rose would be speaking at the RNC. Like, why are they making her into a spokesperson? I'm not against people changing their views and even being public about changing their views,
or
but
maybe even leave it to social media.
Leave it to social media, and you don't need to trot this person out on a stage in front of people who don't even know who she is, most likely. It's just, it's kind of clownish to me. And recently she appeared in a music video with a rapper named Forgiato Blow. I don't know. I've never heard of him. The song is called Trump Trump Baby, to the beat of Vanilla Ice's song, obviously. And we're going to show a clip of it. It's
I mean, of course, it's cringe.
It's really cringe. So brace yourselves.
When Mary was playing it, I kind of wilted and fell into
it. Wasn't as bad as 80 Million Votes My Ass.
No.
It was not as bad as that.
I don't know if there's much worse than that. But here we go.
Yeah. It's the mayor of Magaville, baby. Hey, you know who we voting for? We voting Donald Trump, baby. Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voted Trump, baby. Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy.
She just said January 6th.
Going crazy. Red pill poppin', swerving in the Trump. Republican 4G, and Chief knows what's up. Red, white, and blue, MAGA Nation, throw it up. Black, white, and brown, all that I'm over Trump. Democrat Party gon' take your freedom. Indicting our president, cause they can't beat it. It's a two-tier justice system. Put America first, we the big. FJB, FJB. FJB, FJB.
I have to stop. I'm sorry. I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. Okay.
You get the gist of it, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I personally, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a conservative. I'm straight up anti-communist. That's my entire, I'm a counter-revolutionary, and I believe that there is a significant effort in the United States to change the fundamental principles that our government is the framework of our government. So I will vote for whoever is not a Democrat, because the Democrats have been compromised by subversive ideologies.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
But to claim that Republicans, including Trump, also haven't been compromised, that's not true either. I mean, every politician is compromised.
When you say compromised, what do you mean? And by who? Because that matters.
Special interest groups.
Special interest groups.
I mean, Donald Trump is going broke right now. I know that sounds ridiculous because he's a billionaire, but he needs funding, and we're not even going to get that deep into it because this is Pop Culture Crisis.
The point was the music video.
The point was Amber Rose is now an official spokesperson for Trump.
Is this like their version of when they did the COVID shot sketch with like the big syringes on like the late night show? Who was that? Was that Fallon?
I don't.
It was the cringiest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life when they were running all of the propaganda. It's the right's version of the Imagine music video with all the celebrities.
Yeah.
I can't. It's.
As we said before, the right can't art.
No, here's the thing. It's when you do it under the guise of political art. I just can't. I can't care about anything that's that directly. Now, television certainly gets into it. Television and movies include political themes in a lot of their stuff, but when it's done as the secondary theme, it's a hell of a lot easier to take than when it's the whole point of it. For instance, I can watch a movie with a director's politics in it, but I'm not going to watch movies based on politics.
Sure.
I don't have any interest in documentaries about politics. I don't have any interest in other than maybe like Wag the Dog. You know what I mean? Back in the I just don't. I feel like the average Hollywood artist is better at suppressing that when they're just trying to include it a little bit in a regular movie. But if you give them the go-ahead to just make something based on that, you end up with really, really cringy stuff either way. So it's not fun when the left does it. It's not fun when the right does it. Just no. just no. Like whatever that was, what we should start doing is we should start keeping like a list of like the worst, the worst political music and art made by both sides.
Yeah, but people get mad when we talk about the cringy parts of the right wing. And
I know. Well,
we'll do it anyway.
I guess we'll just never. We'll be truly politically homeless.
And there's another thing to look forward to, because Trump recently challenged Biden to a golf match, and he says that he will give $1 million to a charity if he loses.
What charity it would be? What charity do you think he would?
That's the question, isn't it?
Alzheimer's research.
Yeah.
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I would love to see that.
He said, "I'm officially challenging Crooked Joe to an 18-hole golf match right here on Doral's Blue Monster, considered one of the greatest tournament golf courses anywhere in the world, one of the great courses of the world."
I had no idea you had a Trump.
Everyone does. It will be among the most watched sporting events in history.
It would.
Or
maybe, you know what they do? They each they elect a surrogate golfer to golf for them, and they compete.
That's lame. No one wants to see that.
Isn't Tiger Woods friends with Trump, or wasn't he at one point friends with Trump?
know.
I feel like he was.
Before 2016, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, just that wasn't cringe of the day, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know how I feel about like the special wrapped Cybertruck.
Well, let's go to cute of the day then.
Okay, we'll go to cute of the day
Sandwich it.
then. Yeah, let's do that. That's perfect. That's you're smart here. All right, first things first. This is from Craig. Says, please, prayers for both Google and Panny, our two senior puppies who have been having a lot of medical issues lately.
Okay.
Well, prayers up.
Prayers up for, what was it?
Google
and
Panny.
Panny. Funny name.
It is. Let's do one more here. This one's from Corey. Gigi and Mr. Rufus celebrated their birthdays yesterday. Everyone got treats. Gigi is 10 and Mr. Rufus is 4.
Rufus looks like Puss in Boots. I love it.
Puss in Boots.
Love orange cats.
All right, let's go. Let's do you did send cringe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Somebody, Cabana Boy asks, is this the longhouse? Every time that term comes up, I have to have Mary re-explain it to me. So here we go.
Gen Z boss and a mini, Gen Z boss and a mini, itty bitty titties and a bob, itty bitty titties and a bob, 5'3" and an attitude, 5'3" and an attitude, secret product in a trench, secret product in a trench, new friend green and a sneaky link, new friend green and a sneaky link, fake 10 hands in a hoop, fake 10 hands in a hoop, Gen Z.
Islam is right about women.
I saw someone else say that this is proof Gen Z is going through the same process that made millennials old and cringe, but faster.
Yeah,
this is really bad.
It's probably the most cringiest thing that the cringiest thing that I've seen, at least in a couple days on the internet.
Another person said that, it would be better to just give women UBI and let them sit by the pool than giving them jobs just so that they can dress up and gossip with each other.
Well, I'm wondering, like, what useless HR email wasn't sent because this was being made, right? Somebody
Itty bitty titties and a bob. What is that? What's the point of that?
I was telling Mary the other day about this. We went to Aldi. Like me and Olivia went to Aldi the other day. And there's a guy. He's got the baggy collared shirt on with the two big khaki pants, and he looks like he just left his office. And you just know this dude runs the white collar world. He sends emails all day. He's mastered Excel. He is a level 33 black belt, mixing both martial arts and Masons, right? He's a level 33 Excel spreadsheet master, okay? And that guy, he comes home, he's got his Hummel figurines that he's been collecting since he was very, very young, and he's also got his Star Trek and his Star Wars.
Maybe even a train set.
In a train set, okay? He's got all that, and the white collar world runs on dudes like that.
Which is
In
what
fact,
allows...
You need 10 of him to offset 500 of these.
Yeah.
You do. You need that man.
And you just know that if you were one of the girls in this office and you said you didn't want to be part of the TikTok, They would be like talking shit about you.
Ostracized.
Ostracized forever.
Somebody's just like, well, I've got work to do. They're like, do you really? Yeah. Just no. Thank you for ruining my day. That is
I'm glad you don't have Twitter this week because you
Yes.
can't see the cringe before I send it to you.
Yeah, I'm debating on making this a permanent thing, where what I'll do is I'll download it for the weekend because there's just too much news happens over the weekend that I need to collect for the week. But during the week, I'm only allowed on Twitter at work.
Well, you know,
don't
you
have
can just
Twitter at all?
you can do settings where you keep the app downloaded, but it'll lock you out during weekdays.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing to do. I got rid of it off my phone at the beginning of the week. I've just noticed my attention span has been even shorter than normal lately, and
I've also said putting your phone on grayscale mode
does that
severely decreases your screen time because you just don't feel the pull.
of the phone?
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah, like I've been
All the pretty colors.
Here's the thing, like it's not even about pretty colors. Like it's like 2 a.m. and I'm reading these depressing threads about obscure topics, and it would be one thing if these things like committed to my memory and increased my ability to do my job or something, or gave me some bank of knowledge that I didn't have before. But something about reading things online, like on X, I don't commit that information the same way I would if I was going out and looking for information. So happening upon it, reading an interesting thread, it could be the most interesting thing in the world. Very rarely do I retain a lot of that information. I don't know if that's just me.
So I can't speak for other people, and I'm a little apprehensive about talking about myself because I'm not sure that I have a really honest understanding of myself. I haven't really thought about it a lot, but I don't feel like and I'm on Twitter all the time. Yeah. I don't feel like Twitter rules my life. Yeah. Like I'm constantly like when I get pulled away from Twitter, I don't have a problem focusing. I don't, when I'm doing other things.
When I'm working, it's not a problem. It's more like when I have free time and I'm trying to watch something, I'm noticing that I'm not paying attention as well, or I'm going back to my phone.
I'd always thought that was just because of the movies and TV shows kind of suck. Because when something's really good, like when I'm watching something that I'm really interested in, the phone I don't get picked up. Even when it comes to like old movies that I've seen before, some of like my favorite movies, I'll just sit there and I'll watch. I'll be like, oh, this is so, and I won't think about the phone at all. So.
Might just be me, but I think
it's definitely not just you, because it's something that other people say a lot too.
A little bit of distance is a good thing. Like I said, if it was benefiting me more, and I was like,
you had to break up with Twitter,
and if I was retaining all this great knowledge and I was learning all this new stuff, that would be one thing. But if I'm not, and all it is just me getting annoyed at people whining on the internet, then what's the point? It's not helping you. All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we?
Amandla Stenberg, the star of The Acolyte, recently appeared on The View to whine about the racist trolls who are complaining about the show. And predictably, she was whining about getting death threats and hate comments. It's funny because they started off by talking about how she began in show business at the age of 4 and then got her breakout role in The Hunger Games when she was 14. And the first thing she said about that role is that she loved having the chance to play a brown girl in a fantasy series that she liked. It was specifically about the skin color of the character that she was playing.
It speaks to the personality of the person they're talking to, right? That's the first thing that comes to their mind.
And they were making a lot of allusions to how the Force is actually representative of the state of our society. And that must be referencing the election. I can't think of another way that they meant that.
Maybe the best example of societal deconstruction of art.
They're like,
right?
Trump is the dark side and Biden is the Jedi. But the Jedi are evil, so I'm not really sure what to think at this point. Let's just go to the part of the interview where she starts talking about the hate comments.
527?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, guys. You can take a look here from The View.
And let me ask you this. Unfortunately, the success of this show has made you a target by some in the right wing for the inclusive casting, which is something Whoopi talks about all the time. You have received horrific racist backlash, including threats, and what you call intolerable racism. That is your quote. Can you talk about that a little bit, and what has that been like?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate you giving me the space to speak about it. It's been very painful for me It's not something that I think you can emotionally prepare for. And we welcome criticism of the show when it comes to
False.
storytelling or performance.
False.
But when it comes to death threats, horrific, violent, racist language, it's unacceptable to me. And I've had to think really deep and hard about when you display discipline and when you display honor. And I guess what I mean by that is when do you decide to utilize discipline to not engage in a reactive way to hatred? And when do you decide to engage in honor by honoring your values and your belief system? And in this case, I decided that was the most important thing to me, to be vocal, because I think
This
that
generation
silence
always
can send a
chooses to be
message as well,
vocal.
and inaction can be very dangerous.
It can be very dangerous.
And so I dropped a diss track.
That's what I heard.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
that
I'm
was
sorry.
garbage.
Can we talk about the absolute clown world that we live in, where you use language this serious about a Star Wars show and a woman who made a diss track music video that you can barely understand?
It's all cancer. I hate it.
One does with musical ability.
I dropped a diss track about it. And there it is.
Like, okay, she's talking about it as if she's a civil rights leader, and then she's
And then it's just her twerking.
I love that. My goodness.
And it's called Discourse.
no, I can't listen to that song again. I can't. We're gonna get copyrighted. And
No,
I
just
hate, no.
They stop the reel in 2
And
seconds.
it really is about, I mean, of course, what I've been experiencing, but it's also just about the divisiveness of the culture and how difficult it is for all of us now to navigate information in this new era. It's so difficult to tell what is true, online, and these online algorithms, they shape our realities and our thinking. And
She's right about that
clickbait,
for the most part.
journalism, and these algorithms also profit from our rage and our hatred. And I feel like that's something we are aware of, but we don't necessarily have enough discourse or infrastructure around because it's so new.
Yeah.
It's also discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to you talking about ignoring. The first thing I'm going to remind everyone watching is that her character is fictional.
Yeah.
Right.
So the fact that you
Right.
are responding to this fictional character
Yeah.
as though you were having dinner with her and she changed overnight for you.
Yeah.
So always remember that the people who are yelling at you often are bots and not real.
That's true.
And don't
So if
know
they're
you
not
like
real,
you
then
know
why
you,
is
and
this
don't know
important?
that you can kick your own behind better than anybody else can. Put them out of your mind. They don't matter.
Don't.
Thanks to Amanda.
Okay.
Nothing they say matters because they're all bots, but also they're racist.
The racist bots.
The racist robots are striking back.
I have a question though. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed is that most of the people that I've engaged with in regards to this show have had very little to complain about other than in the way of anyone's skin color, and a lot to complain about in regards to writing and script and storytelling, or even set design and the color grading of the show. Those are the things I've seen most of the complaints about. But what she's referencing are death threats and racist comments. Is it literally just two people talking past each other where people will get offended thinking she's talking about them, but she's not actually talking about them because you're not the one criticizing what she's saying happened, but she would lump you in with them and say you're all the same?
Yeah, it's easy to do that. I mean, with the amount of attention that this has gotten, I don't doubt that she's gotten death threats, but I feel like celebrities can get so melodramatic about one comment that they saw and act like that's the entire response to it. And it's like,
threats all the time.
death threats doesn't mean credible threats or, actual safety concerns, first of all. But yeah, you're right. Most of the criticism has actually been of the show. And people in the comments pointed this out. One person said, "We welcome criticism," proceeds to bash everyone criticizing the show. "We welcome criticism, but they never address any criticisms about the story or acting." Audience criticizes the story. "Disney, you're racist." That's literally been the discourse, as she said, for even before the Acolyte came out.
Maybe
that's been the case for years.
Search for the mundane answer before you look for something fantastical. And in this case, the mundane answer is just, you've made a bad show. It's not even necessarily her fault. It's Leslie Headland's fault. It's the
her
director's
attitude is her fault, for sure.
No, I'm saying, but like the show itself, like, right? She has poor acting that has nothing to do with her skin color.
Sure, but
nobody wants to address it as such.
The inclusive casting and the fact that the protagonist of this story is a Gen Z black woman does have something to do with its mediocrity. Because they thought that they could coast off of inclusiveness to make a shitty show.
If inclusion was the issue, then there would have been the same backlash to Ahsoka. But there wasn't.
Well, okay, that's different because nobody watched Ahsoka. I think this is getting way more attention than Ahsoka did.
People watched it, maybe not in the same numbers, but it would have gotten backlash because of supposed inclusive casting. Now, I actually think it was worse it felt like there was more of that type of content or discourse around Reva than there was around her.
About race?
Yeah.
About diversity hiring?
She was in Kenobi.
Kenobi, yeah. She was just a side character, an antagonist in Kenobi.
I grew up loving Star Wars, and I can't care about this anymore because it's all just bad. All the writing's bad. The stories are bad. It's all just bad.
How do you talk about hating rage bait and how it's dividing us and make a diss track?
Like, you're feeding into the hate. You are doing that
Yeah.
to feed into the hate and division,
I would
the other way
respect
around.
it more.
Victimhood is a currency nowadays. So when you get, if you can make an argument that people believe that you've been somehow the victim of bigotry, it's literally just printing cash for you.
Mm-hmm.
I would have more respect for her saying they treated me like shit, so I treated them shit right back.
Right. I would respect if she just said, they were playing dirty, so I decided to do the same thing.
I would have had infinitely more respect for that answer.
And even if you admitted that it was a mistake, actually, like if she said that she regretted making that diss track, I would respect that a hell of a lot more than acting like she is the second coming of Rosa Parks.
Yes. Again,
for twerking in a music video on Instagram.
Take the 30,000 foot view and remember that this isn't the civil rights movement. This is a corporate product made by Disney.
And you're an incredibly privileged actress who has been working in the industry since you were 4 years old. Okay, nobody believes that you are a victim in any sense of the word. And you've already gotten your paycheck. So I don't even know why she's opening her phone at this point. How is cyberbullying real? Close your eyes. Literally. That's the advice that they should have been giving the actors in all of these projects this whole time to avoid situations like this. In fact, there should be a clause in the contracts for the talent saying that you are not allowed to engage in back and forths with fans who are either criticizing or praising the show, because your social media presence is part of the marketing for the show. And you are tanking it.
It also must only be certain types of racism and bigotry, because people had critiques of Lee Jung-jae's performance in the first 2 episodes. After that, he seems to be one of only 2 characters that gets any praise, which is him and Kamir.
He's lucky that he doesn't speak
white.
English, so that he doesn't even know what the hate comments are saying.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Him and Kamir are the only 2 characters that get any praise on this show, and
Barely.
neither of them are white. So what is it?
Yeah. I don't want to just say that there's nothing wrong with the inclusive casting part, because I think there is something incredibly wrong with that. She was chosen for her race and her gender and her demographic. They want that at the forefront of Star Wars. And I think that's a bad decision, because the majority of the Star Wars audience is white males. They chose to put a sassy Gen Z black woman at the forefront of the latest Star Wars project for a very obvious reason. And we don't just say that from conjecture, as we saw the evidence from James O'Keefe literally a week ago, where their finance production guy is saying, we cannot have a white person in this production.
Don't let them gaslight you and pretend
a very explicit standard that they have now. And she was, in a very real sense, in a very objective sense, a diversity hire, because she has no acting skills.
It's the fact that there are Democrats and people on the left acting outraged because people that are not on the left are pointing out, hey, you guys are doing this. You guys have openly admitted, and there's enough evidence of it for us to say, hey, you're doing these things because of their race and gender, and then they have the audacity to act stunned or offended.
This was literally
It's
what
ridiculous.
happened with Kamala Harris when they're like, she's a
Exactly.
DEI hire, and they're
Exactly.
like, how dare you say that? They're like, you literally said you were going to choose one of 4 black women for this role.
Biden specifically articulated that. Like, so to act like it's like it's some kind of revelation or that it's some kind of racist attack. It's like, these are your own words.
Yep.
These are your policies that you endorse. Yep. What do you mean? So it's frustrating because it's so clearly not true. And I just hope that people are like seeing through it, whether it be, in politics or in pop culture, at Disney and stuff. Yep. These things make America worse. I made a little diatribe about it the other day on IRL. These type of policies and these type of behaviors from from corporations and stuff, it makes America worse. It makes America significantly worse.
All right, let's go super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, happy Thrashing Thursday, Brett, Mary, and Phil. I am experimenting with a new Thursday title for when Phil's on. What do y'all think?
I personally, I love thrash metal, so I'm all for it. So.
There you go.
You're going to have to resume that in October when
Thrashing
Phil's back.
Thursdays.
Greg Duvier said, Phil, the last 2 songs have been fantastic.
Thank you.
But instead of releasing 1 song at a time, you should release 12 plus songs at once and call it an album.
There are more songs coming, and there's enough to be called an album. We will do things at our own pace because we're finally in control of our own music. Next week, there's something coming out that I didn't release, or that I'm not releasing, but that I'm a part of. So
Did I see I think I saw him post about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be next week. I can't talk too much about it, but it'll be interesting. And I'm very excited about it.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after the fact.
So it seems like it's finally acceptable for Hollywood celebrities to turn their backs on Joe Biden after the debate performance in June. And the first thing I saw was Jimmy Fallon doing his own Joe Biden impression on a fake phone call with Obama, who is trying to convince him to drop out of the 2024 race. It's just, the question we're all asking is, why is it acceptable for you to make fun of him now when you called all of us conspiracy theorists for years when we were saying the same thing? Mm-hmm. We feel gaslit. So let's take a look at that sketch.
No way I'm watching 3 minutes of this. Let's
Yeah.
just watch a couple of seconds of this. Here you go, guys.
Hello. Hey, yo, I just caught your interview on Morning Joe, or as I like to call it, Morning You. You get it?
Who is this?
It's Barack
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Obama.
Oh, I know. It was just a test to see if you knew who you were.
Oh, Joe, you're making about as much sense as you did during the debate.
Thank you.
Not a compliment. Speaking of the debate, I gotta ask, what was that weird face you were making when Trump was talking? You know the face.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. But look, people are worried, because sometimes you seem to lose your train of thought mid-sentence, trail off, and then say a random word.
Well, I can tell you that is simply and utterly wheelbarrow.
You see, now there you go again.
Good joke. I can't believe it.
You get the idea.
I just want to put an idea in your head. Imagine how much better off relations might be between people in this country if they were willing to do this all the time. I'm not saying you have to make any less fun of Trump. I'm saying you have to be willing to make more fun of the other side and at least impart a sense of some type of nonpartisanship.
But instead, they're all in the annoying celebrity/entertainer group chat where some handler said, okay, guys, you have the green light to stop gaslighting the public and make jokes about this finally. And, state your opinion, which is that this man is senile.
I'm not so sure that that's their
It's
opinion.
not even that's their opinion. It's they're just talking heads that will take
Well, I'm
whatever's
just saying
written on the
some
page.
people have known about this for much longer than they have let on publicly, and one of them is George Clooney.
Oh,
So
yeah, he wrote
George Clooney
an
recently
op-ed.
wrote an op-ed for New York Times titled, "I love Joe Biden, but we need a new nominee." And he said that a few weeks ago, he hosted a fundraiser for Biden's campaign. And at the time, there was a clip that went viral of Biden freezing and then getting escorted off the stage by Obama.
And of course, everybody was told they were conspiracy theorists if they
Yes.
said that this was true.
And that's straight from the press secretary saying that the video was a cheap fake
fakes.
and manipulated. But now 3 weeks later, George Clooney finally admits that Biden was the same man at that fundraiser as he was during the debate. A senile old man who has brain freezes and can't string a sentence together. So the question is, why didn't you say that 3 weeks ago when you knew that he was not sound of mind? Why did you wait until everybody else knew, until 50 million people found out to speak your mind about this? Especially because, you know, he's been politically active for a very long time. He did fundraisers for Obama, for Hillary Clinton, and for Biden in 2020. But only now has he decided that it's time to be transparent. And it just feels disingenuous.
Why is it that it has to be so blatant and on TV for it to do this? Right? Also, did you see that the Biden campaign responded and said that Clooney made the whole thing about himself?
Seriously?
You see this? Yeah.
What did they
It says, President Biden, Clooney made the fundraiser all about him, says campaign source.
The cope is crazy.
Yep. That's I love it. Oh, but also the best part here was Trump's response to Clooney. Did you see this? This is my favorite one.
Yeah.
This is why people love Donald Trump. George Clooney sucks as a movie actor, but I like him on TV. I think that this is secondary proof that Trump is a fan of ER.
I think this just shows that Trump is an entertainer at heart, and that's why we love him. But here in this op-ed, George Clooney said, "I love Joe Biden. I believe in him, believe in his character, believe in his morals. In the last 4 years, he's won many of the battles he's faced, but one battle he cannot win is the fight against time. It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago at the fundraiser was not the Joe Big Effing Deal Biden of 2010. He wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate." Again, why didn't you say that 3 weeks ago?
Why did you let comments about cheap fakes stand?
So then there's a growing list of entertainers who are also calling for Biden to drop out. Rob Reiner tweeted out, "It's time to stop effing around. If the convicted felon wins, we lose our democracy." George Clooney also said that Biden saved our democracy.
There's
in
that
2020.
phrase again.
Joe Biden has effectively served with the U.S. with honor, decency, and dignity. It's time for Joe Biden to step down. To which John Cusack responded and said, "There has been no bigger supporter of Biden's domestic policy than Rob, and he's right." There's also Reed Hastings, who said Biden needs to step aside to allow a vigorous Democratic leader to beat Trump and keep us safe and prosperous.
What is Biden's domestic policy?
I don't even think Biden knows.
Do you know it? What is?
It's literally buy votes.
Yeah.
It's use the government to print money to give to people so they will vote for him.
Print money. Borders pretty much open.
Open the
student
borders
loan
so they
debt
can get,
forgiveness.
Yep. Open the borders so they can get more people in for congressional districts. So that way, the redistricting is going to favor Democrats.
Retract Trump's insulin thing and then repackage it as his own.
Not a single thing good.
Right?
Another thing is,
the CHIPS Act. The CHIPS Act was good. That is something that I back, and I will always say that was a good idea. So.
Amal Clooney, George Clooney's wife, actually refused to attend that fundraiser 3 weeks ago because she doesn't like she was protesting essentially Joe Biden's support for
At home,
Israel.
she's screaming at George. He's got the nuclear codes and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, George.
But he was like, "Shut up, bitch."
Even Michael Moore.
He said that Biden running again was a form of elder abuse. He said this is about whether he should serve another 4 days. If I have to be the only one to stand for Joe Biden, if I have to be the only one to stand up for him here, thank you. to protect him from the cruelest form of elder abuse I've ever been forced to watch, that's what I'll do.
We all knew about this elder abuse 3 years ago, 4 years ago. What are you talking about?
It is crazy to see clips of him from 2020 and be like, that's a different person.
Yeah.
And then we also know that there was a Parkinson's disease expert going to the White House on a monthly basis.
There was legislation that there was a bill that was connected to.
And he continued, he was in epic distress on debate night. Every cognitive default in his mind seemed to be shutting down. If this had been somebody that you truly cared about, loved, and embraced, what would you have done? Would you have seriously even let him go out on that stage? Who would send an 81-year-old out onto any stage to debate a living monster at 9 o'clock at night? How late is that? For a brawl that would not end until 10:42 p.m.
He's 81. That's 1 million votes.
Well, apparently,
per year.
his wife is that person who
Yes.
sent him out on the debate stage. And even Stephen King, one of the most annoying Trump derangement syndrome celebrities.
All of these people are kind of the who's who of the most overly annoying political sphere of actors in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Ari Emanuel, the mega donor, and he's a big Hollywood producer and businessman, talking about it. It's funny. I saw a clip of David Zaslav saying I really don't care who it is. They should just be pro business.
Yeah, fair point.
I like it. With all of the with all of the energy of like a hurricane who has he doesn't care who he hurts or who he helps. He's just out for whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
But they also listed Abigail Disney, the great niece of Walt Disney here, and Damon Lindelof. But it's a growing list, and I think the broader point here is that finally these people feel like it's safe to make jokes about what's happening and the complete joke that our country has become, but called us crazy for saying the same thing.
Look, the positive of this is it goes to show that hopefully there are people that are acknowledging or at least realizing these talking heads lie. They're lying. They have been lying, and they cannot be trusted.
Well, here's actually this is really interesting. So Hollywood donors rage at Jeffrey Katzenberg for convincing them that Biden wasn't too old to run. People are pissed and they felt betrayed, which means that they did essentially offshoot their own opinion to somebody else, and that guy assured them that he was fine.
It was hard for me to believe that there were actually that many people who were totally ignorant to the fact that he's senile, but I guess there are some who were shocked.
But here's the thing, we take for granted, and I think it's kind of why I point out about normies all the time, that there's a lot of people, this is most people that vote. That's what should be scariest to you, right? That the average person doesn't sit online all day and look at doesn't have to scroll through Twitter and see Benny Johnson videos and all of these other, accounts that are posting this stuff that you take for granted, that you don't know how much you know until you realize what another person doesn't understand.
And they counted up only 51 million people who watched the broadcast of the debate. But what's more powerful is the memes that happened after the debate. That's what more people are going to see, and the same message comes across.
So it says, according to California Governor Gavin Newsom, Katzenberg told donors, "Trust me, and if you don't trust me, trust but verify. Come with me and see for yourself and engage with the president." And then they did, and he was like,
Yeah.
And that's
Clooney interacted with a demented old senile man and decided to keep his mouth shut because he is a fraud.
I also want you to realize that do not let the media gaslight you into thinking that the right is still the party of big money.
Yeah,
right?
that's
It's not true anymore, right?
It's
So Hollywood is indicative of more than just their industry. They're indicative of business. Like I said, Ari Emanuel runs a gazillion-dollar enterprise. David Zaslav taking an opinion on it. Reed Hastings being part of Netflix, which is a multinational corporation now. They are not just the party of the farmers in this and that. It's obviously the opposite now. But the thing is they have done such a good job of, like I said, gaslighting the public that doesn't pay close attention into thinking that big business is in the pocket of the Republicans, when we know that the biggest corporations give money to both most of the time.
It's funny, we just saw Amandla Stenberg gaslighting us, and now it's George Clooney and the rest of the Hollywood ilk.
They're going to keep gaslighting us.
Yes.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Pop Culture Junkie said Sean Levy also directed the 2 Night at the Museum films, which
Yes.
are very underrated.
Yep.
I remember those. Those are good.
I think I don't often give you movies that I think you might like. You might like The Adam Project.
Why?
I just because it's got a it's family focused, and it was kind of wholesome. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe you would. Maybe you wouldn't.
Corey Anderson said, "Are you expecting me to believe that Nomi Abadi has never willingly done anything with the thing that she is claiming has a putrid smell? I call BS."
You'll have to ask her.
I don't want to touch that one.
I don't know who to believe. Shane H. Wilder said, "I think Elfman did it. He's the same one who wrote a song called Little Girls about being a PDF file. The lyrics are disgusting." Yeah, I remembered that from the article. I was like, didn't he sing about little girls?
It's always the ones you least expect.
Question mark.
Question mark?
The last
Do
of
one
my
more.
kind said, listening while waiting in long gas lines after Hurricane Beryl here in Houston. Props to all the fire and EMS triple run volume, average 2 hours sleep per day.
Wow. Also, Beryl.
What?
They're just running out of regular names, so Hurricane Beryl.
I think it's a cool name.
I like it. And I hope you're safe, man. Like that's
Has there ever been a Hurricane Brett?
Yes, but I think it was with one T.
Oh.
Fake. I think it was recently too.
Damn.
Let's do one more.
Daniel Sorensen said, "Farewell, Phil and Sia in Illinois. I hate that I haven't seen All That Remains since the Mayhem Festival tour in 2009. Looking forward to it."
I'm glad you're coming back, man. I
That's
appreciate
cool.
it.
There you go. All right, let's hold off on the rest, and let's time to tell everybody why the feminists hate Katy Perry.
Yeah, it seems like
'Cause
the
she's hot.
feminists.
That's probably it.
Yeah, the feminists are officially turning their backs on Katy Perry. Right now, she is making a comeback, putting out a new single titled Women's World. And it's the typical 2010s feminist power anthem that you would hear on the Billboard Hot 100. It seems like she's kind of out of touch with what's trendy now, which is understandable because she's past her prime as a
She was going to
celebrity.
vote for Rick Caruso. How could she know anything?
Yeah, I mean, people aren't really mad that she's a Republican who lives in Kentucky now. They're mostly mad that she is working with Dr. Luke. And if you guys were unaware, Dr.
yeah.
Luke is the guy who got Me Too'd by Kesha before the Me Too movement, actually.
Kind of like Diplo, who gets like allegations come out about Diplo like every couple of years, and then nothing comes of it.
Yeah, Kesha accused Dr. Luke, this is a big music producer, of drugging and sexually assaulting her over a decade ago. And since then, every pop artist who works with this guy gets a wave of hate for doing so, but it usually dies down and people forget about it. But for some reason, it's hitting Katy Perry especially hard. And there is something supremely ironic about making a feminist power anthem and hiring a notoriously Me Too'd producer.
It's very
to make
current
it
year.
for you. It's
very
very current year. To get the message across, some of her lyrics say, "Sexy, confident, so intelligent. She's a winner, champion, superhuman, number one. It's a woman's world, and you're lucky to be living in it." The lyrics emphasize the idea that women are capable of achieving greatness and should be celebrated for their accomplishments. No, it does not. It emphasizes the idea that women should be celebrated regardless of whether they accomplish anything great. They should be celebrated for existing.
For just being who they are.
Yes. The song's message is of self-empowerment, encouraging listeners to embrace their confidence. They're stepping into their confidence.
Again, it is like pulled right from 2010. Or I'm
Yeah.
about to hear Girls by Beyonce.
Katy Perry was way better in 2010.
Yeah.
And she's still like kind of stuck in that mode, not realizing that it's super outdated. And this is why Lana Del Rey stands against everything that all the other pop stars are right now, because she's honest about female nature and has actual vulnerability in her songs. But yeah, mainly people were calling out Katy Perry for working with Dr. Luke because she is, you know, sinned in the feminist moral framework. And Kesha just tweeted LOL. And she's also putting out a single at the exact same time.
Of course.
So people are like stream warsing it.
I mean,
between the two
you
of
could
them.
even take the cynical approach there and be like, okay, so you're monetizing your alleged trauma.
Yeah, so in the music video, we're not going to show it, but Katy is dressed up as Rosie the Riveter, the We Can Do It image, essentially. And during the snippet, she's drinking from a bottle of whiskey for women, dances with vibrators, and sings "It's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it." And there's also a scene where she is a deflated blow-up doll who blows herself up. Not explodes, but she inflates herself, which is the ultimate metaphor for having an inflated ego. But I also question how feminist it is to compare yourself to a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
Not like she's really all that consistent, but
here's another way in which their ideology fails, right? So in the post, "It's a woman's world," she only shows women with one body type, and then the next comment below that from the same person says, "It's a woman's world," and it's 95% white women in the video.
Yeah.
When you walk this path, ladies and gentlemen, you are not on the way to any type of victory. You are on your way to more complaints from the people who supposedly support you than you ever will get from the people who don't like what you're making. The people who don't like what you're making will just move on and go elsewhere.
Yeah, they do feel incredibly threatened by the fact that Katy Perry hasn't gotten fat or ugly over the years. She's looking good, and all of the women in her music video were skinny, and most of them were white, so that got a lot of people angry. Predictably so. Abigail Breslin actually made a statement about Katy Perry working with Dr. Luke. She said, "I'm just saying working with known abusers in any industry just contributes to the narrative that men can do abhorrent shit and get away with it. On another note, I love Kesha, and she gave one of the best shows I've seen. Stream Kesha." So now they're in a war with each other for more streams, because that's how feminism works. It's just making women rich.
Yes. Yeah.
By posing as feminist icons.
Do you think it's just that she just doesn't get it because she's getting older and she's just, you can't help it?
I mean, the
Or do you
fact
think
that she
she's playing
hasn't
into it?
addressed it when everybody knows that this is the main thing people are talking about probably means that she just either doesn't care, or a possibility that no one has entertained. Maybe Katy Perry knows something that the rest of the public doesn't know, that she's not at liberty to say.
Yeah.
Maybe she's aware that Dr. Luke was not credibly accused. I don't know any of the details, but nobody has entertained even the possibility that he didn't do these things.
She's also anti-fragile.
Yeah.
She can't be, stopped entirely. She's made her money. She's going to be able to do whatever she wants. At this point, when a musician of her caliber or, her stature continues to make music, it's because they want to, not because they need to.
Yeah, but I guess if there's anything to praise about it, it's that she at least has hot backup dancers. Unlike Taylor Swift, who exclusively chooses fat backup dancers to make her look skinnier.
Very toxic.
Yeah.
I did like some of these comments, so they were making me laugh. It really is just, why would you even want to cater to this audience when not only does she say it's a woman's world and she only shows women of one body type, and it's a woman's world and it's 95% white women in the video. She says, if you actually want to help the world, here's a thread of resources on how to help Palestine, Congo, and Sudan. It's like you can predict it. You know what the next post is. Every time a feminist or somebody on Twitter makes a thread that goes viral, after it goes viral, they say muting this, and then if you want to help somebody, here's how you can help people in Palestine and Congo, and then they include that there. It's on every single thread.
And it's never actually helping anyone. It's just like
Here's
raising
an NGO,
awareness.
Here's an NGO you can give money to that will never go to the place it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
These people have worms in their brain. And if they want body positive music videos so badly, then they should go stream Lizzo.
Honestly, that's the next one below it. Says go stream Lizzo then.
Literally.
Right?
And people are tired of the body positivity shit, clearly.
That seems to be more and more true lately, that there's a lot less focus on it coming out recently.
Go to the gym.
Because, look, Katy Perry is in incredible shape. I think that she cares about looking hot. It would be a virtue signal if she put a bunch of fat chicks in the back of her music video, but doesn't have the courage to be fat herself.
I think Sabrina Carpenter includes mostly good-looking people in her stuff too.
I haven't really looked into it enough, but Sabrina Carpenter is a perfect example of like sex appeal coming back into the like the forefront of pop music.
Actual sex appeal that's connected to an actual sexual nature, as opposed to Taylor Swift, who's good looking
But
doesn't portray that image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, Katy Perry wrote this song for like millennial women who still listen to, what was that? The Fight song?
Yeah.
Like I said, or
That's
Girls
who this
by
is
Beyonce.
for. Or Girls by Beyonce,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
And what they don't realize is these songs have existed for decades. Independent women came out in like the year 2000, right? Like millennial women grew up with this message being.
It's like, yeah, of course you're independent. You're Beyonce.
It's the one video where it's the girl. She goes, if she pays her own bills, and she gets up, and the guy goes, then you're an adult. You're a normal adult.
Or like Jennifer Lopez, of course your love doesn't cost a thing. You're Jennifer Lopez. Like these messages have been mainstream for so long that it just doesn't hit the same.
It's like I said, there's this video where the girl, it's a girl, she's just sitting there like this, and there's like a voiceover. She goes, if she pays her bills and she's got a job, and the guy's like, then you're an adult. Like this isn't
She
the 1960s.
wakes up in the morning.
Yes.
She goes to the gym.
Well, that's the thing. It's like feminism or third wave feminism demands that women are celebrated for not being like degenerate. Well, they're actually kind of celebrated for being degenerate, but just doing the basic
like,
minimum things. Like I
got up
tied
in the
my
morning.
shoes.
It's praising a
I
fish
paid
for
my
swimming.
bills. Yeah, that's perfect. Praising a fish for swimming. Like it is so embarrassing that women actually allow other women to say these things and don't say what is wrong with you. They should be shutting this shit down because they sound like absolute infants. Like they're gonna say this, and then like men, like there's gonna be like a snowstorm, and men are gonna be out there fixing the power for like half the town at 3 a.m, suffering.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be like, "Oh, men suck, and look how great I am."
It's not going to be a woman's world when the draft is enacted.
It's so ridiculous. It's
When
such
World
a-
War III starts, it's not going to be a woman's world.
It's so offensive and so ridiculous, and I can't believe that there aren't more actually intelligent women shutting this down, saying you cannot do this. This is embarrassing.
Also, like, is it a woman's world or do we live in an oppressive patriarchy? Pick one. Pick a struggle.
You can't have both.
You cannot have both.
You can't have both.
They're so ridiculous. They're just so ridiculous.
Have you ever seen the video of like the girl? She the toilet seat is up and she puts it down, and the Taylor Swift song, it says, "Hey, isn't this easy?" plays, and then a guy comes in and does one where he drives a car and doesn't hit a curb, and that plays. He takes the garbage out and that plays, and he does like it's very, very petty. But the point is, it's the argument that I always make when they're like, it's really easy to put the toilet seat down. I go, yes, it is. So why are you complaining about it?
It's just so it's awful. It's just
Women are in a
absolutely
lot
awful.
of psychological distress if they have to listen to Woman's World on their commute to work to tell themselves that they're sexy, confident, and beautiful and empowered.
The other problem is there's a whole generation of men who just don't bother to correct them.
If you're constantly reiterating these mantras to yourself, no one actually believes that you are confident, powerful, sexy, etc. You are telling yourself these things over and over again because you don't actually believe it. And that's why, actually, Lana Del Rey is the last honest songwriter for women.
I love her.
Because she's like, I'm weak and I'm stupid sometimes. I make self-destructive decisions, but I love love.
Look, and that is not exclusive to women. Men make self-destructive decisions all the time. This is not something that that is foreign to men. It's just that men are expected to acknowledge this, and women will lie to each other. Like the whole like every woman is a 10. If every woman is a 10, then no women are 10s. That's so ridiculous and so absurd. But it's like all women have to sit there and say, "Oh, we're all 10s. We're all beautiful." Blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, well then you're all liars, and nobody should actually respect you. Like that is begging to be disrespected, because you can't actually have a conversation with someone like that, because you're expected to lie. If you don't lie, they're going to cry. So it's like, oh, a woman sad, man bad. It's just such absurd, ridiculous garbage that men have been forced to deal with. And I really think more men need to say, that's nice, dear. And just and treat them the way they deserve to be treated. When women are like that, when women are honest and they're like, look, these are, there are good things about women and they have a realistic perspective, then you should affirm them. But women that say, oh, all women are 10, treat them like children because that's how they're acting.
Okay. All right, let's go to Super Chats. But before we do, I want to play. That reminded me of this video from Ryan Long.
Hey, big guy.
Hey, how we doing? Rachel dumped me today. Left me for a rich dude. Said I was too broke, couldn't provide her a future.
You have the perfect amount of money.
You're a baller. More than perfect.
Don't let anyone tell you that you're broke.
I am, though. That's why she left me.
She left because she couldn't handle your level of wealth.
Filthy rich. Made of money.
Now that she's gone, the landlord wants to redo the lease, so I'm probably not going to have anywhere to stay.
Hey, I don't know about any of that stuff, but when I look at you, I see a man of means. And you need to see the same thing when you look in the mirror.
And if Rachel and your landlord can't see that, that's because they're projecting their insecurities onto you.
I don't even want to look at my bank account right now.
You don't have to look at your bank account. But if you do, whatever it says, just know it's the perfect amount.
And if your landlord wants to know what your number is, that's no one's business but your own.
No, I just looked. I'm in overdraft.
Nice, dude.
Crushing it, bro.
What?
You should take a picture of that and your eviction notice, post it to show what a real well-to-do man looks like.
I'd like to see
You get the point.
Yeah.
You get the point.
It's exactly what we were talking about. It's so absurd and ridiculous, and yet like the women that were doing that cringe ass TikTok that we watched earlier, they would all be the women that would be like, oh,
We're all
10s.
We're
No,
all badass women.
Not a single one of you were 10s. I looked at you. You're none of you were 10s.
Okay. I'll be bringing your concerns to the International Women's Conference.
Don't.
Because we do that, right? That Stanzatastic said, I thought we already did Cringe of the Day. Are we getting a twofer? This was sent during the Acolyte Whiny Baby.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a threefer really today. Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary, make sure you put your Trump imitation on your demo tape for future voice work.
I agree.
Yeah, maybe Freedom Tunes will hire me for something. Shane H. Wilder said, I dropped a diss track and said that no one would talk about it, then got pissed and tried to censor anyone who talked about it, including us, by the way.
Yeah, she did. She did, however. Yeah,
she hit us with that copyright hammer real quick.
Kind of genius on her part. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to the.
Yeah, she channeled her rage into something creative. So credit where it's due. Surinko Productions said, I hate internet rage bait, so I made a diss track.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, the discourse can be so toxic these days. You dirty racist trolls.
The way
like
it was her self-satisfied tone of voice in that video that just drove me insane.
in the music video?
In the music video.
Yeah. You silly racists.
Which reminds me, somebody mentioned in the chat, Women's Summit tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure somewhere tomorrow there's a Women's Summit
That's actually
going on.
where I'm going tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm going to be out of town at a Women's Summit, just so everyone is aware.
Where are you going?
A Women's Summit.
Is it actually a Women's
No.
Summit?
No, it's not actually a Women's Summit. It's a conference, but...
Is it a women's conference?
No, it's not for women.
Damn it.
It's not a women's conference. That would be funny, though. Pop Culture Junkie said Disney gives all their talent training on how to use their personal social media to promote content. 90% of the advice is completely ignored. Do we know that for sure, though? Like, what kind of training or coaching are they going through? Because really what they need is to disincentivize their talent from doing what Amandla is doing, which means you will literally get a pay decrease if you are hurting the show in public relations and posting things for the trolls.
Here's a couple
posting rage.
Here's a couple of women's summits that are going on.
What's going on?
July 20th, there was a women's summit at 2 p.m. Washington, D.C.
Cool.
On October 22nd, there's a women's leadership summit in Baltimore, Maryland. This is just stuff in this area. And on September 27th, there's a women's CEO summit. Wow. That's a glass ceiling breaker if ever I've heard of one. At 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So just
if anyone is interested.
If there are any female CEOs, you might want to go look and sign up for that one.
Yeah. I wonder if you need to prove that you're a CEO to get in. Maybe I could go and just pretend.
Yeah.
I think they.
I'm the CEO of my Twitter account.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll work.
Shane H. Wilder said, Fallon actually made a joke. It wasn't the best joke, but at least I chuckled. Maybe if we hadn't already been telling the same joke for 4 years, it would have been funnier. Come on, man.
I don't even need them to be funny. I need them to just try on a regular basis so that everyone doesn't know that you're partisan douche canoes.
Like, it's not funny, but, you know, you tried.
Yeah. Like, it's not even about it being funny.
Golf claps.
It's about showing that you're willing to critique both sides.
Yeah,
I would rather have an argument about which side they try harder on. Like, oh, it's very clear that the Trump skits are funnier than the Biden skits because they try harder because they don't like him. Okay, I would rather have that discussion than wonder why they only make them about one side and none about the other.
Yeah. Okay, another username I'm not going to read said, these women in that office have terrible fits. Someone call the fashion SWAT team. Like, seriously, a trench coat? Who are you, Dick Tracy? A trench coat in July.
In this heat?
In this economy. In this climate change. Surenko Productions said she also gets crushed by an anvil in the video. LOL. Yeah. Which is just as cartoonish as you would expect. Corey Anderson said, Let You Go is a fantastic song. Phil, you should be extremely proud of this upcoming album. I hope it goes gold quickly and then platinum.
I appreciate that, and I hope you're right.
Is there much music these days from mainstream pop ever that actually takes a positive approach to romance in relationships?
I couldn't even say that Lana does that because hers is like doomerous.
There was something aspirational about 90s R&B music. There really was.
There really aren't love songs these days.
No.
There are breakup songs and there are self-love songs.
I want to vomit.
And there are flexing songs. And that's pretty much it.
Where are the Backstreet Boys when you, or the where's Boys to Men when you need them?
As a lyricist, I will say that things that talk about the human condition are the things that are the most compelling to people. So most people can relate to having a broken heart or breaking up with someone or those type of things. So when people, like, I personally write about that stuff a lot because it's something that I can relate to and that I can draw on experiences in my life. So, you know, and also like positive love songs, you could do it in pop music. It's harder to do in other types of music. Like, I'm not right. Like, it ain't gonna work in All That Remains.
I'm saying, but within pop music specifically is where pop and R&B is where that used to be centered, and there used to be a lot of that.
Used to be just porn, but like nice. Like, it was just
not
like,
entirely.
I don't know. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
Perfect time to remind you to go listen to the song "Red Light Special" by TLC again.
I mean, you know.
Yes.
Okay,
There's a lot of bumping and grinding in R&B in the 90s, man.
Shane H. Wilder said, stream Katy or Kesha. How about I go stream Lana?
There you go.
That's the patrician choice. We all know that.
Lana Del Rey.
Shane H. Wilder said, how can you stream Katy when there's a femicide going on in the Congo?
Seriously, unless I know that Katy Perry's sales are going directly to some faceless NGO that's supporting fixing the femicide in the Congo, how can I, in good conscience, support that music? I can't.
Yeah. High Voltage 75 said, Phil, how can you even think of going on tour when there's a femicide in the Congo?
You know.
How can you be doing this?
F them bitches.
How can you be doing this to the women in the Congo?
You know.
Omega Red Fan said, less is more. LOL. Said no one ever. Did we say that?
Did we say that? We're going to hang out until 5 because it is Phil's second to last day here.
Okay.
It is very sad.
We need to make the most of it.
But it's only temporary.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
That's going to be good. So it's like on the bus the whole time. You still got your like place out here and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
I'm not getting, I mean, I have an apartment and I'm not changing any of that stuff. I'm taking my guitars home to New Hampshire because there are people there and there's not going to be anyone in the apartment. I'm taking all the valuable things are coming out of my apartment and they're going to New Hampshire.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, right?
How long's it been since you were last touring?
Last time we did a tour was in 2022. We did the Fall of Ideals celebration. So it's been a minute, but it hasn't been like it's been more recent than the last time we released new music.
Okay. I want to see if I can make it to Richmond if that's not sold out.
100%.
But
Just
I don't know.
let me know and I can
Am
put
I
you
going to
guys-
fit in?
You wear enough black usually, yes.
That's I'll blend in just fine.
Yeah. But if you let me know, I can make sure that you and a guest have tickets and
That's good.
will be taken care of.
Okay.
In the chat where it said review of Twisters, Brad. We're gonna review Twisters when
Yes.
it comes out. So
That's next Thursday,
I'm
right?
gonna show you guys this video. This is why Tom Cruise is a national treasure, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a video of him proving that he is the ultimate in Hollywood celebrity, where he shows Glenn Powell, my goodness, dude, if you're gonna star in a movie, you have to at least hold up your popcorn bucket that has the name on it while they take the pictures. Here's Tom, knows what he's doing.
He's teaching Glenn,
He's like, Glenn,
Powell.
pull your popcorn bucket up. What are you doing?
They don't look like Dune popcorn buckets.
No.
There's no sexual innuendo in the Twisters.
I know Tom Cruise is a crazy Scientologist. I still kind of like him.
I will never care that he's a Scientologist. I don't care that he jumped on a couch.
I want to hear him start talking more about Scientology. Like, I want to know why he's passionate about it.
I don't think he is.
If you're a Scientologist, you must really believe in it, because obviously almost no one is.
So I was also, like, the other day, the video randomly came up again of him. Oh, there's a 20.
We got a 20 from Boosted Yogi. He said there ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
There you go. So the video came up again of him and Chris McQuarrie doing the thing where, like, please turn the motion smoothing on your TV off. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to watch movies as they were meant to be watched. And after I made the joke, after I watched Velocipaster, it was so awesome that it turned the motion smoothing back on. Which everyone should go watch the Velocipaster. It is on streaming right now.
It looked like it was filmed on like an iPhone 3.
No, here's the thing. It was shot on 16mm film.
Yeah.
And then they went and stomped on the film to give it the look that it has.
Which is just blurry?
No, it's
blurry.
crackly.
Yeah.
It's crackly. So it's a lot of fun. There's another one up there.
Perturbed Alpaca said nothing now can touch Next or Blackstreet Boys.
There is it was Blackstreet. It wasn't called the Blackstreet Boys.
He said Blackstreet.
He said Blackstreet Boys. The Next was from Minnesota, so I support that. They're the ones who sang Too Close.
Whatever happened to boy bands? Is K-pop just entirely taking the place of boy bands?
Yeah, well, right now, what's his name? Simon Cowell is doing a competition to launch the next boy band.
I don't know if a boy band can be successful in 2024, at least not, a non-K-pop boy band. No. But clearly, because
Trans
K-pop
boy
is
band
becoming
could.
so popular in the West, like, there is a space for that. There is a fan base for it.
Yep.
But they're just not really doing that anymore. I said Justin Bieber is the last, like, white, straight, male heartthrob for young girls that ever was. And there's not really going to be anybody to replace that.
Yeah.
Because K-pop is here to stay.
And they're allowed to do that, whereas here in the West, it has to have some type of agenda, ideological agenda attached to it.
I still think that it's so interesting how they, like, train the K-pop idols in camps. Like, It seems like they're committing multiple human rights violations to create these K-pop idols. They just don't have rights. They sign away their entire lives. They sign away their names, their likenesses, sure, but also their entire personal lives. You're not allowed to publicly date anyone. I actually saw there was one K-pop idol who ended up marrying one of her fans. Who was, like, way older than her.
Literally done to give every other K-pop idol a boost in the future to keep the engagement high.
Right. It's like a public relations choice.
You too could maybe pull
be
this up
guy
one day. Yeah. That's rough. That's rough for the...
I gotta believe that they actually fell in love. I'm gonna believe the story.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
On that one. Somebody says 5 Seconds of Summer was the last one.
I was a fan of 5 Seconds of Summer at the time when they were, like, most relevant. But as I recall, they hated being called a boy band. They never wanted to be called a boy band, even though that's exactly what they were.
Drewish AF says Backstreet Boys to Men. They should actually go on tour together.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, watch Wolf Cop or Terror Vision. Trust me.
Look, after I said that I watched Velocipaster because it became memed into existence based on the description of the movie. which went viral a couple of years ago. I'm not inherently like one of those B-movie people. Like I don't watch a lot of B-movies.
Well, the sequel is coming out soon, and I saw that there's like a Kickstarter page for it because it's being crowdfunded, and they currently are taking pictures from the fans to put in the movie for like, it's like missing virgin.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
All of the missing virgins go on the wall.
Brett, if you don't submit a selfie,
no, it can't be the selfie. It has to be the one picture
I will be disappointed.
It has to be the picture we use for all of the thumbnails.
It has to be that one, literally the singular high resolution picture that exists of you in the movie.
So this is what went viral back in like 2019. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a prostitute convinces him to use it to fight crime. And ninjas.
And there are ninjas there for just
it's
no
literally
reason.
Are the ninjas criminals?
Yes.
I don't want to watch this movie. I like ninjas.
They're awesome in the movie. It's fine.
Okay.
They're awesome. They're drug dealers. I mean, hey, we're as a libertarian, are they even criminals?
Ninja drug dealers.
Are they even criminals?
Ninja drug dealers.
Can we show like a clip of him in the Velocipaster suit, because it's just a suit. There's no CGI. It's just a guy in a dinosaur suit.
Okay, now I'm excited.
Look at this. Look at this shit. Didn't he say that he had it from like a high school play?
Yeah, it's from a high school play.
Look at
it's amazing. Everyone should go see this movie.
Impressive kick from the ninja there.
Yep.
Corey Anderson asked, panel, if you were in a movie, whom would you like to play you? I would choose Mario Lopez because Don Rickles is no longer with us. Who would you choose? Tom Cruise? We have been asked this question before.
Yeah.
But did you say Tom Cruise?
Probably Tom Cruise, I guess. Yeah.
There's no better option. Like, who are your celebrity doppelgangers?
I don't have one.
Because I have not thought of a single one for you.
I don't have one.
Do you have any? No?
Who would play you in a movie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you would want to play you?
Here's a question. Do you have one for yourself?
I would have said like Dakota Fanning, but she's much older now. No offense to Dakota Fanning. Because I think she's
Millie Bobby Brown.
No. Why would no? A million times no.
Wow. You just gave the wedding proposal no. No, a million times no.
Yeah. That's the only time you're going to hear it from me. But
somebody in
not
the chat,
Millie Bobby Brown.
Somebody said Jonah Hill for Brett. Screw you.
That's mean.
That's mean.
Skinny Jonah Hill?
Sydney Sweeney. It would be really funny to see Sydney Sweeney playing me. But yeah, I guess I would say like Dakota Fanning from like 10 years ago.
That would work.
Yeah.
I think that would work. Not
people
not
have
Elle
said,
Fanning? Not her
no,
sister?
I like Dakota better.
Okay.
And she also looks more like me than Elle Fanning does.
Okay.
The Rumbling said, hi, Brett and Mary. Hey, Phil. May your days be blessed with hoorahs and haktuas. Also, all religious people are conservative, but not all conservatives are religious.
Yeah,
I mean, it's actually not true because there are a ton of liberal Christians. You know, that's why there are so many churches these days that have the rainbow flags and stuff.
Though?
I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not Christian because, like, I don't want to make a statement about someone else's conscience, but they definitely aren't, you know, like, there are very clear biblical moral stances that would dictate your politics on certain issues, and they just choose to ignore those conveniently.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say they're not Christian.
What about Aubrey Plaza for you?
I guess like the vibe works, but I don't like Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
I just find her affect annoying.
Too on the nose.
But maybe that just is like me projecting my own self-hate onto her because so many people have said that I act like Aubrey Plaza.
Do they?
So many people have commented that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. It just came to my mind because I think somebody in the chat mentioned Anna Faris for you.
No. No. Shane H. Wilder said he loses his parents to missing CGI, LOL.
So the thing is, he walks out of the church and his parents get blown up. The car gets blown up and it just says CGI effect. And there's just nobody there. There's no car there.
LOL. The Rumbling said, oh, I already read that one. High Voltage 75 said, I think Brett kind of looks like Charlie Day.
See, I thought I was
Wait,
so
let me look
that I
that up.
sound like Charlie Day.
I've heard, actually, I've heard Dana Carvey.
That's awesome. So I can be Garth from Wayne's World.
It's not just the glasses. I think there is some resemblance there.
He does this every Friday.
Yeah, I see it in Charlie Day. I do. Since
Fine,
I didn't watch Always Sunny.
I'll take Charlie Day because he's younger than Tom Cruise.
I mean, Tom Cruise looks really good for what he's like 60 now.
Yes.
Pop Culture Junkie said, best crowdfunded film ever, Iron Sky. You can't beat Nazis on the moon.
Okay, then. See, that's the thing. Like, I was never a B movie person, but maybe I found a new passion for it because, like, I was watching it, and Olivia came in and was just jaw dropped by how stupid the whole movie was. So maybe that's the new flex, is to watch nothing but B movies all the time.
I know that a lot of people were recommending we watch Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
A Canadian B movie. It tells the story of Jesus returning to Earth to fight an army of indestructible vampires.
See, when I was...
It has kung fu and good-natured blasphemy. Okay.
When I was watching the Velocipaster, I don't know a whole ton of very devout Catholics or Christians, but I'm saying that, like, of all that I do know, I feel like you would be the least offended by the humor.
Yeah, I try to be as good humored
like
as
I feel like
possible.
you would be as good natured as you could be in that.
Yeah.
Like there's a character named Frankie Mermaids. They call him that because he's a pimp who's swimming in bitches. It's literally what he calls himself.
Shane H. Wilder said, okay, Brett, just watch Hobo with a Shotgun.
See, they're just putting all sorts of suggestions in there.
Evan Gallis said, hey y'all, Phil, did you switch to agnostic to avoid being mistaken for a liberal? What?
That doesn't make any sense to me. Or maybe
Is it that they think you switched from atheist to agnostic?
I don't know what that means, but I've been agnostic for decades.
How many decades?
Multiple. At least probably 3.
Since you were how old?
Since I was in my 20s.
Okay. And you were, before that, you were Christian?
Yeah.
Like just non-denominational Christian?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was raised Catholic. And
oh, okay.
So I didn't get I had my first communion. I didn't get confirmed, and then after that, I kind of just moved away from religion and stuff.
That's what happened to I got my first communion and I never got confirmed.
I also didn't get confirmed, but I got confirmed late. Actually, in like June 2022.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but I took off work. I do
remember that. I do
go
remember
back to North Carolina to do that.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, for me, but the thing is like, I don't remember anything. Like maybe like we've talked before, I have very little memories of my youth. I don't know if that was just because I did a lot of drugs later in life, but I have strong memories about specific, things that have happened in my life, but not a lot about like this random period of time where my mom made me go to classes on Wednesday to get first communion. I remember being mad about it because I didn't want to do it, but it was a long time ago.
Evan Gallis said, I think the confusion was some publications say Phil was an atheist.
Oh, okay.
I wonder where they got that from.
I mean, I might have said atheist before because I'm less sure about things as I get older.
Yeah.
Or less.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of like when you start reading philosophy and stuff like that, which I've been doing the past 5 or 10 years and stuff, you start to understand more about religion than without philosophy. So I think that philosophy is really important, and considering the fact that like we still don't have an explanation as to where the universe came from, how it actually was created. So because I can't know what is outside of reality, of our actual reality, I can't say for sure. And atheism is a very, I'm sure there is nothing, and I can't say that I'm sure of that because I can't know. Yeah. Because I'm limited to.
I would never have enough self-assurance to ever be an atheist.
Yeah, and also atheism becomes a belief system too.
Yeah.
And I don't have that belief system, so.
It seems like it was more fashionable to be atheist like
in the
15
2010s,
years ago.
early 2010s.
late 2000s, early 2010s, and then
Probably.
that fell out of fashion.
Well,
And
there
now it
was
seems like
definitely
it's
the-
becoming more fashionable to be Christian at this point.
Yeah, and there was also like the whole new atheist movement that got co-opted by a lot of the woke people. They called it atheism. They were calling it atheism plus. That's where James Lindsay kind of was like, wait a minute. He was actually fairly active in the atheist community, I guess, with like Dawkins and with Sam Harris and stuff. And then as they started bringing in atheism plus, which is atheism plus social justice, he was like, wait a minute, this is like,
Is that like a streaming service I have to sign up for?
I thought that like the new atheist. Thank you.
hey,
Let's get to a third one
Hold please.
before Phil goes. Okay,
You got 17 minutes to get us to the third party, guys.
get it.
But yeah, I thought that the new atheist movement kind of collapsed itself into the anti-SJW YouTube sphere that put me down the alt-right pipeline when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
I think, well, there was a
The alt-right pipeline.
there was definitely a split. So there were the people that were like oh, the new atheists and started to go into anti-social justice because of
see.
atheism plus. So
Okay, that makes more sense.
Literally, when I hear atheism plus, I'm hearing like I have to like sign up for it, and it's a streaming service.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, I'm a very serious Catholic, and I thought Velocipaster was hilarious. Also, nothing wrong with confirmation later. I had to wait on mine. Yeah, for me, it was just something that fell through the cracks.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of a symptom of divorce.
Didn't get around to it.
I mean, it's more like my parents didn't get around to it.
What time do you? At what age do you usually get first communion?
First communion?
Yeah, I don't remember
I
how old
was 9, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that honestly
8 or 9?
That might have been what happened.
What do you
family.
mean?
Like maybe that's what happened. Like see, maybe I'm misremembering it, but like the way I remember was like we kind of fell off going to church after I got first communion, and then I remember like my dad trying to bring me back to church more after my parents split. And I could be misremembering this entirely, and maybe it was one of those things where I was like, "Wait, so you guys get separated, and I have to go to church more? What the hell is this?" But maybe he thought that maybe I might feel like something was missing in my life, and he wanted to bring me back to church. I would have had no problem with that if I was old enough to understand that as a concept, but I don't think I really got it at that time. And a lot of it was like, if I had hockey on Sunday, we chose hockey over church because I was, I played in the league. So I guess it all is kind of jumbled together. I feel like my dad would be able to give me like a more solid recounting of all these years. And as soon as he tells me, it would make more sense.
You should get to that.
But in my brain, it's more jumbled than that.
How old were you when you started going back to church?
I feel like
because you would have been around the age that people get confirmed.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so my, so maybe I'm misremembering it, but I feel like that would have been like when my parents split when I was 12. That like for a couple of years there after they split, we were going to church more regularly. But again, like I played sports, so a lot of times hockey and baseball would have taken up time on Sundays, and we would have, he wouldn't have made me go at a different time just because I had hockey.
Did I miss?
Yeah, there's one here from Shane H. Wilder.
Oh no, I read that one.
The one about Velocipaster?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. The last.
Yeah,
one?
I read that one already.
I didn't hear that one. I think I was waiting for it.
He says he's Catholic. He loved Velocipaster.
It was amazing.
Now the Jesus Christ vampire hunter premise seems a little bit more blasphemous. Like maybe I wouldn't be into that one.
The funniest part is like the creepiest part is like in the main character always keeps saying my son. Like anytime he refers to someone, he's very formal in his language. He's like, "That's what happens, my son." Yep. Phil's back.
Not really a B movie person myself.
People were begging for you to come back. They don't want to be stuck with us here. They want to be stuck with Phil.
I just had to,
Yeah. Wait. So he says, "Wait, atheism has microtransactions." That.
Atheism Plus
apparently.
is your monthly subscription.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's what it was. Can you imagine that?
Pay your dues.
Look, if you guys are looking for a good film that is religious themed, I highly recommend we had Paul Roland on, Paul bought like a film called Exemplum, which was really, really good, and I really, really enjoyed, and I believe it's still on Tubi.
That was about the priest who records confessions and then uses them for blackmail.
Yeah, well, he's got like a podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good, and it was made on like a shoestring budget, but it's beautifully done, and I really, really enjoyed that film. I might have to go back and rewatch it. But the thing is, like, when we got to watch it when it was here, it was like without commercials. Now if it's on Tubi, like, I'm gonna have to watch it with commercials, and I'm still not ready to surrender to that all the time. But I do recommend checking out that film. It was really, really good.
Okay, there's also an Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter
That
movie.
one I knew about. Yeah.
I didn't know about that one
Yep.
either.
I did.
Which was first.
Yep.
Paul Blart Mall Cop is a good religious movie.
What about okay? So
how is Paul Blart Mall Cop a religious movie, or are you just kidding? I don't know.
The mention of angels in the outfield is a fair one. So it is funny because remember when 2021, when like the Democrats said "Amen" and "A woman." Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Wait.
Yes.
What?
You remember that?
No.
Yeah. So who was it that did that? It was.
I don't know.
It was like during some.
Who did that?
Political hearing, somebody used the phrase "amen" and "a woman." Well, in the movie Angels in the Outfield, when the main character is asking God to help him, to help the California Angels win the pennant so that his dad will come back, he says "amen," and he goes, "Oh, a woman too."
This
is
so cringe.
Democratic Rep. Emmanuel Cleaver delivered the opening prayer, opening up the 117th Congress. This was in January 2021. He decided to use gender-neutral "amen" and "a woman" to close out the prayer.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Is there a video of this?
There might be. I don't know. But also
That's
remember,
a
guys,
cringe
in the
for the
movie,
ages.
in the movie Angels in the Outfield, Al the Angel is completely okay with helping the California Angels cheat, just not during the playoffs. I don't know what the logic is behind that. The better example would be in the movie The Sixth Man, where Kadeem Hardison, basically one of the brothers dies and becomes a ghost that helps his team win their basketball games, and then whichever Wayne's brother it was gets off the final shot at the brother, and the ghost is about to help him make the basket, and he goes no, because he wants to know if he can make the shot on his own. That is the better example.
I don't buy clothes at Armani. I buy them at Our Man or Womani.
Oh, God.
Womani. Or Womani.
The Angels were definitely cheating. See, guys, if they were making Angels in the Outfield now, it would be Astros in the outfield, because everybody knows that it was the Houston Astros that got caught cheating in 2017.
Evan Gallis said we should be getting an album title soon, right?
Soon.
Soon has a lot of meanings. Shane H. Wilder said, I still don't know why I say I'm Catholic. I think everyone's figured that out by now. Mary, you will probably laugh at all they get wrong in the film.
I'm sure you will.
They have a bunch of theological inconsistencies, and I'm going to make like a 45-minute video essay about Velocipaster.
You should make it about the exorcism scene.
What was it? The Russell Crowe one?
Two of them. Two Russell Crowe.
I didn't see the other one,
Yeah.
but the Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe was a complete mess. And it wasn't even entertaining. That's the problem. Is if you're going to make it completely inconsistent, at least make it fun to watch.
True.
Shane H. Wilder said, there's a video of the "Amen, Ah Women" super cringe. Okay. I want to try to find that because I want to see that.
Shane H. Wilder also says, Brett, hold your tongue about my Astros. Look, I'm calling a spade a spade. Okay.
I'm going to send you a link to it because I think this needs to be seen in all its glory. I just sent you that.
All right, here we go.
All men and all women.
May the Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious.
Oh,
double
with
mask.
With the double mask, too.
Just
You didn't
unto
mention
us.
that part.
May the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon us and give us peace. Peace in our families, peace across this land, and dare I ask, O Lord, peace even in this chamber, now and evermore. We ask it in the name of the monotheistic God, Brahma, and God known by many names, by many different faiths. A man and a woman.
That was like the worst thing ever. Okay.
Like, don't like people that are religious take offense to saying that God is known by many different names. Like, isn't like I would assume
Christians don't believe that.
The
I
top
would assume that it's like, hey, the God that I worship is not the same God that someone else worships.
The top comment says, "If a man is Hebrew, is a woman Shebrew?"
God, it's so cringy.
The Manic Mustache sent a $20 super chat. Late as usual and apropos to love songs, a fire broke out at my high school prom. We didn't understand how powerful the grind was. Polyester and R&B is a dangerous combo. My GF at the time lost her Tamagotchi. It was the 90s.
Look, leave those Tamagotchis alone.
Did you have one?
I had a Tamagotchi.
So y'all were bumping and grinding so hard that it started a fire.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. You know that song, "We Didn't Start the Fire"? That's because
Who was
of us.
that?
Two decades later. I didn't just have a Tamagotchi. I had sumo wrestling Tamagotchis, where you could connect it with another person's, and you could fight on them.
Huh.
Yes.
I did not have Tamaguchis.
Gucci's?
Tamagotchi, whatever.
Christy Yamaguchi was a pro figure skater.
Tamaguchis, I did not have those.
Yeah, it was after your time.
I did not have that. That was definitely
Brett,
after my toys.
Do you think that you could pivot to a figure skating career because you have the basis, like you have the foundation for the skills?
Those are vastly different skill sets.
You could definitely learn it. You know, you have a head start.
No, not at this age.
We're gonna see you at the Olympics 10 years from now.
Never gonna happen. No, I have a lot of respect for all the people. The craziest shit is the people who do like team figure skating, like the it's basically like the dude's picking up and throwing the woman in the air and catching her, and there's like a skate blade an inch from his face. That shit's crazy.
Remember that? That was the hockey murder.
Yeah.
Happened last year, right?
Yeah, where the dude got the skate to the neck.
And they were like trying to say that it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
But it definitely seemed intentional.
I don't know whatever happened to that. Does anybody remember what happened with that guy? I don't know if that guy ever got. I don't think he got charged.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Brett, hold your tongue about my Astros."
Nope, sorry, bro. I just tell it like it is. All right. Well, we'll do the outros then. Perhaps we'll get to that third crisis party.
Let me see how far we are. Okay, we need $45.
We'll have to wait and see whether we get there. But guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Phil will be back with us tomorrow. It's going to be me, Phil, Libby, and Sarah will be here. So every time Phil is on or Libby is on, we get a comment where somebody says, you need to get Phil and Libby on at the same time. So we are making that happen tomorrow.
Does that happen on IRL often?
Once in a while.
Okay.
I think Libby's great. So
it's going to be perfect gender parity. 2 women, 2 men.
Perfect.
Who else is going to be? Well, who else?
Sarah will be there. Yeah. Libby will be here. You'll be there.
Because I'm going to the women's summit.
I was under someone else is under the impression that they're going to be here as well.
Who? I have no idea.
I guess we'll work that out.
We'll figure that out off air.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to.
All right, let everybody know where they can find you.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is called All That Remains. You can catch us in just a few weeks on the Destroy All Enemies tour with Megadeth and Mudvayne. It starts off on August 2nd, goes until September 28th or 29th. You can check out our new single. The song is called Let You Go. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon Music, Deezer, and also on the YouTubes. You know, the internet. And don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
The whole internet.
Well, it's somewhere on there. I don't know about every site on the internet, but it's on there.
All right, there's 2 more.
Yes, Surenko Productions said, "Oh yeah, isn't the Olympics next month? I forgot. LOL."
Yes.
Brett's going to be making a surprise appearance.
I only know
skating.
I only know this because Peacock must be hosting they must have the Olympics because it's got the logo on the side of their logo right now.
High Voltage 75 said, "Favorite Megadeth albums, Phil?"
So Far, So Good, So What, and Countdown to... No, not Countdown to Change. The one with Rest in Peace, the one with Holy Wars on it. It's a great record.
All right.
Okay, you guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
And there's one more there from Shane H. Wilder.
Prayers for safe travels if you're traveling, Mary. See you Monday, and I'll see the guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. All
See
right.
you guys on Monday.
Somebody says time blind Brett doesn't realize there's 2 minutes left. Well, if I do the NPR outro, it might take that long for it to happen. Guys,
hate to see it.
Yes. There's one more here
V-Wit.
from V-Wit.
The cutting edge hockey player gets cut and becomes a figure skater. I want to see that movie.
Also, somebody in the chat said that he got charged with manslaughter.
Oh,
so
okay.
there you have it.
And Alec Baldwin won't.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like, we're not covering the Alec Baldwin stuff heavy, but we are probably gonna cover the verdict once it comes in. So we'll talk about that. The verdict that will likely be not guilty because he's not going to spend a day in jail. But
no one is above the law.
Except for Alec Baldwin.
In this country.
Guys, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. I don't have Twix right now during the week. I can check it when I get into work, but at home I cannot. But this show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook, and not TikTok, because we were banned, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.